Good afternoon, all. Just want to come in and give you something quick and brief today. So, in order to secure your mental health, in order to take the self care route to look at your mental health, sometimes we have to believe specific signs when we see or when we hear specific things. Now, a lot of my live videos are always pretty much pertaining to me. Things that I've gone through with people. So sometimes I may say things that may trigger some people, but it doesn't even mean I'm talking about you. And if you're feeling some type of way, that means you've either done those things to me or you're doing those things to someone. So when I say believe the signs, sometimes people say things or they behave a certain way and it's blatantly obvious in your face. But sometimes for some reason we choose not to pay attention to those signs. And a lot of it has to do with our emotions and the way we feel about people. So believing the signs, and I am not restricting this to a relationship as in we're dating, we're married. This can be the signs from anyone. This can be the signs from a so-called friend. This can be the signs of a family member. This can be the signs of a co-worker. It can be the signs of a boss. Everybody possesses signs that we need to pay attention to. Tara tell me all the time that I always miss particular things that people be saying, or I always miss particular behaviors that people be showing me because I always try to see the good and the decency in people. But everybody don't have good and decency in them. And that's where you have to know where these signs come in. They could say certain things. So just say, for instance, you're beefing with someone else, and not even beefing. I hate to use the word beefing because beefing is so, I don't want to use the word beefing. Just say that you're having an issue with someone and you may share the information with someone else that may have the same issue with you, but they haven't quite told you that. So you're sharing with them. You may say, sometimes I feel like that they subliminally say things about me, or I feel like sometimes that a particular post was about me, or a particular song they dedicated out was about me. And so you're telling this to someone. And the person who you're talking to, they may say something like, well, girl, I don't know. People be feeling certain type of ways. That's a sign to me. That makes me feel like, do you feel that same way about me? Are you thinking that same way about me? But me, I normally just ignore it and say, well, girl, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the deal. And I always feel like that I'm limited on the people who I'm friends with, or limited on the people who I talk to, because I always feel like that people are out to get me. I always feel like that I do something in the wrong and then they just have some sort of vendetta against me. Sometimes I feel like I can put out a post, and because you're feeling some type of way with your own issue, or you're feeling some type of way with your own business, you think that I'm talking about you. And so you backdoor and you put something up about me. And I'm like, well, what the hell? What did I do to you? What do I do to anybody? And that has happened so many times with me. But a lot of times I don't pay attention to the signs. And we miss the signs. We miss the fact that people are subliminally saying things, are subliminally doing things in our face because they're too afraid to say, you know what, this is how I feel about you. This is why I'm behaving like this with you. People are afraid to do that. And so you begin to take everything as a sign. You begin to take everything as they don't like me, they don't care for me, they're talking about me. And people are not. People are not. So that's why the signs are so important. When people only come around you for a particular reason, when people only talk to you at a particular time for a particular reason, when people share things with other people about you that they don't share to you, it's about you. So how come you can't tell me about me? And then when we all come around and get together, it's, hey girl, hey boo, hey sis, hey brother, hey, it's always that. But you were just saying something about me. And a lot of times I miss those signs because I'm so in tune with giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm so in tune with saying, well, I don't do anything to people, so why do people want to do something to me? I don't say anything to people, so why do people say things to me? And it's those signs that we miss. We miss how people look at us side eye. We miss how people say things under our breath. We miss how people post things that are really about us, and we try not to pay attention that it is, but we still try to build relationships. We still try to be there with that person. We still try to be there for that person. And I have to sometimes ask myself why. So when Tara mentions it to me, and she always tell me, you missed that. You didn't see that. You didn't pay attention to that. I have to go back and I have to reflect and be like, damn, I didn't see that. But it's not because I don't want to see it. It's just because I genuinely try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't do anything I feel like I don't do anything to anyone. And I always tell people, if I do something to you, if you feel like I have wronged you, if you feel like I have said something or done something, 9 out of 10 chances you have my number. And if you don't have my number, this Facebook works just like a phone. You can send me a message and say, hey, we need to talk. I'm all about we need to talk. If I do something to you that you don't like, you need to tell me, because let me tell you something. I'm not in the business of looking for signs. I'm not in the business of looking for every time someone says something, I'm thinking, oh my God, are they saying something to me? Oh my God, are they talking about me? I don't be in that type of business. I'm in the business of trying to build as many people self-care and self-confidence as I can. So I'm going to say things that are going to be positive. I'm going to say ways that I feel. I'm going to share positive things. I don't have time to look for signs. But we need to believe them when we see them. We need to believe the signs when we see the signs. If someone says something about you and they come back in your face and they're still being cool with you, it's something wrong right there. It's a reason. Why can't you tell me about me like you're telling everyone else? How come why we have to do it this way? We all speak and talk about being 100 and being true and being real. Come on. The signs be there, and we need to be believing them. When people say things, we need to kind of like monitor what people say. When people do things, we need to kind of look at what it is that they're doing. Because sometimes the signs be right in our face and we don't take note and we don't take heed. And I have missed tons of signs. I have missed tons of things in the past with previous people that I don't even talk to anymore, that I don't even care to talk to anymore. There are plenty of people that I don't talk to anymore, all because I missed the signs. And I'm so busy giving people the benefit of the doubt where everyone doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Everyone don't deserve it. So because I miss the signs and I don't believe the signs and I don't listen to all the slick comments and the subliminal things that people say, but yet and still, I'm still trying to befriend you. I'm still trying to text you or call you or check on you. And I'm always being told, you're too nice. You don't ever pay attention to what people are doing. You don't ever pay attention to what people are saying. Do you realize that that post was about you? Do you realize that that comment that they made was about you? Do you realize that they're talking about you? And I guess those are all the signs that I miss because I'm not in that business of looking at who likes me and who don't like me or who feel a certain way about me. I'm so busy giving people the benefit of the doubt and then still backdoor trying to talk to you and have a conversation with you when you clearly don't care for me. And so now when I feel like I see something or I think that I've seen something or heard something, I write something. I am now a big writer down of things. If I put something up Haven't done this recently, but if I post something, somebody feels like it's about them, and then they come back and they post something and I feel like it's about me, I screenshot and I write it down and I be holding on to it. See, I used to wouldn't do that because I'm like, I don't be wanting to have time to do that. But I feel like now that's the route that people are taking. Like, we're throwing out so many signs and we're throwing out so many subliminals that people are missing it. And so now I'm like, I don't want to miss them anymore. I don't want to miss them anymore because I'm now at the point to where I'm tired of giving people the benefit of the doubt and trying to be their friend and trying to be cool with me, and you have no desire. You have no desire to be cool with me. And it's like this the way my mental state is set up is that I choose not to take a lot of BS because it's my choice. I choose not to take a lot of BS. No. People are going to always have something to say. People are going to always talk about you. You're going to always be on the lips of someone. And it's not because you are important. It's not because you're doing better than they are. It's just because that's how the world works. You're going to always be on the lips of someone. Someone is always going to have something negative to say about you before they have something positive to say about you. But we have to be able to pay attention to those signs and believe those signs. I can be friends with any and everybody. But there are particular people that I may just give you one chance. And because I don't feel like all that extra, and because I don't feel like that, okay, so today they didn't talk to me, so maybe tomorrow they'll talk to me. Okay, it's been 3 weeks and I've been putting out this, or I've been inviting them and they don't, it's after a while, it becomes time out for that. To me, that's a sign you don't want to be bothered with me. You know, and I'm not in the business of begging anyone to have conversations with me. I'm not begging anyone to befriend me. I'm not begging anyone to call me. When I have my online events, I put out the invite. If you come, you come. If you can't, you can't. I don't beg anybody to do anything for me, with me, to me, like me. I don't do that. And we miss so many of the signs from people. If a person treats you like trash in public and go back and treat you like trash in private, then there is some investigation you may need to do. And when I say investigation, we're not looking into past this. We're not doing any of that. I mean, you may want to have a valuable, valid conversation with that person. What is the problem with me? I have never asked anybody what was the problem with me. I've never asked anybody that. People sometimes just find it in their nature to drop me for whatever reason. They are battling their own personal insecurities, their own personal whatever. I've never asked a person why they stopped talking to me. I just watch your behavior and now watch your signs and now believe your signs. Because here's the thing, this is how the truth comes out. You can't be friends with me when it's just you and I. But then when we get out and get around others, you all of a sudden don't know me. Like, you can't do it that way. You can't do it that way. You can't be cool with me only in the public eye so it'll look good. But in the privacy, we don't conversate or communicate. We can't do that. That's a sign to me that lets me know you don't want to be bothered. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to politely just go on in, delete you off of whatever areas I need to delete you off of. I no longer need your number. If you're only using me to chit chat out in public, I don't need to call you. I don't need to text you. You don't need to be on anything that's pertaining to me. That is a sign. That is a sign that you're a fraud. That's a sign that you're fake. you know. And a lot of people will probably take this live and be like, you know, okay, now what is she going through? Or somebody may be like, that's a valid point. Or somebody may be like, I don't really care what she's talking about. I can do it the way I, and that's fine. However you see fit for this live to get to you, whatever you see fit for this live. But it's like, believe the signs when you see them. Because sometimes people's behavior and actions will tell on themselves before they verbally tell on themselves. Sometimes people's behavior and people's actions will tell you and show you how they feel about you before they even say how they feel about you. Believe those signs. They're there for a reason. They're actively coming into play for a reason. If you feel some type of way, I always encourage people to ask. You don't have to ask in public. You don't have to blast on social media. If you don't have their number, go into the inbox and say, hey sis, hey B, hey friend, hey whatever you want to say. I am feeling some type of way. I feel like that what you said had to do with me. I feel like your post had to do with me, or I feel like that what you're saying had to do with me. The signs are there. Some of us don't pay attention to the signs because we're afraid of the outcome. We're afraid if someone actually says, you know what, yes, that was about you. Yeah, I was talking about you. Yes, I do feel that way about you. But I saved myself so much anxiety and drama by wanting to find out if that is for me. If that is for me. And so when we miss the signs, and I'm telling you, and the signs are not only for relationship purposes. Your family members show you signs and how they feel about you. Your friends show you signs of how they feel about you, or if they do or don't want to be involved with you. Your boss may show you signs. That's one of the reasons why I was having the issues at my job. I looked at the signs of my boss when everybody else is getting praise and accolades and what have you, and I'm a teacher as well that's raising my students' test scores, but you say nothing to me, then I feel like you have an issue with me. So I'm going to come and I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? But then sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't have time to deal with you. Like, I don't want to deal with you in that manner. Like, I don't want to do that. And so ever since a few years ago, when Tara told me, she said, Michelle, you miss the signs that people be doing. You miss out when people feel a certain type of way about you. She said, I don't know if you don't want to believe it because you're the kind of person that feels like everybody likes me. And what have I done for people not to like me? She said, but people are going to always find something to not like you for. And it could be nothing that you have ever done. It could just be your presence in the room. And so she always tell me I try to make myself too friendly for people. But that's just my personality. That's just who I am. I like to talk. I like to make people feel good when they are around me. Now, what you feel about me internally, if you don't say anything to me, I'm not prying it out of you. I'm not going to say, hey, how do you feel about me talking to you? How do you feel? I'm not going to do all that. If you don't want me fooling with you, then you say, hey, you let me know. You know, Michelle, now you ain't really my cup of tea. You ain't really the person that I want to. Let me know. My feelings will not be hurt because I have grown to learn that everybody's not going to be for you and you're not going to be for everybody. I remember telling that to a teacher years ago, and she was very upset with me. And the reason why I told her that was because I said, listen, we're in this predicament together with these kids, and you complain from the time we get to work to the time we leave this joint to the time out in the parking lot, everything. You're complaining every time. And so I had to tell her, hey, you're not for me. And she was upset. But what you have to understand is everybody's not going to be for you. And you are not everybody's cup of tea. And sometimes people display those signs and we ignore them because we don't want to believe that we're not for everyone. We don't want to believe that maybe they really don't care for you. Maybe they really don't like you. And that's why I think I'm extremely limited on friends, because I find myself trying to make friends or trying to talk to people that don't care for me. And when I go home at night and I think about and I reflect on that, and I'm always trying to figure out, what is it about me that they don't like though? What is it about me that they don't like? So I called one of my friends who's dealing with the same thing, and I talked to her about it. She said, Michelle, she said, sometimes people just pack around jealousy. You will never know why a person actually don't care for you. You will never know why a person actually don't care for you. Sometimes people just pack around jealousy. Sometimes you're doing something that they thought you were going to fail at, but you're still doing it. I say, well, what that got to do with me? That's their insecurity. That's them. What does that have to do with me? And she said, people just pack around that jealousy. That's just what they do. That's just how they operate. And I said, okay. I said, well, from now on, let me just stay in my little world and mind my little business. And whoever wants to spend time with me, maybe they'll let me know. If they don't want to spend time with me, I'm not forcing or prying any relationships at all. I was telling her that. And she just said, that's what you have to do. To say, because that's just the way the world works. And I'm like, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks that I have all these signs and subliminals that I have to pay attention to, that keeps me from actually being a good person or a good friend to someone. So I'm in the believing signs business, even though I said I wasn't. But I believe I'm in the believing signs business, because that's what's going on now. So if you're in situations that you're having a tough time understanding, maybe with people, and regardless of who the people may be, if you are in situations where you may be having a hard time understanding what's going on, look at how the person is treating you. Listen to what the person says to you. Listen to how the person talks to you. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to how they talk to you. Sometimes the signs be right there and we just don't pay attention. And sometimes we don't pay attention because we don't want to pay attention. But in order to secure our mental health, in order to secure or to build that self-care, mental health stamina that we all deal with at some point, we have to pay attention to the signs. And we have to believe the signs that come from specific people. There are some jealous, envious people out there for whatever reason they may be. And sometimes they attack when they feel like their life is not in a good place. They allow their insecurities to attack you. And I talked about this about a day or so ago, about how to overcome your insecurities. And the main thing of overcoming insecurities is knowing your self-worth and knowing who you are, and making sure that you are secure with yourself. And that's a big problem that a lot of us have, being secure with ourselves. Know who we are and know what we are all about. And I'm still working on that too. Like, I'm no means together 100 at all. But I'm learning that there are people out there that are just jealous and battle with their own insecurities just because. I don't know. I want to say that sometimes I think I have to be cautious of how I view people or how I receive people. Because sometimes I do have moments to where people are actually genuine to me, and because I don't know it, or because you're so used to the other, you're so used to people doing, the jealousy, the backstabbing, or whatever. You're so used to that to where you avoid those people that try to be decent with you. And I feel like sometimes I do that sometimes. I'm working on that. I have a lot of work that I need to do in a lot of different areas, And when I do my live videos, I'm never out to hit or do any. I'm just not. And it may not seem that way, but I'm not out to do anything to anybody. The reasons for my lives are always things, there are things that I go through. These are my experiences. When I share my live videos, these are my experiences. These are things that I'm dealing with. But if you so happen to be dealing with the same thing, then you know what I'm talking about. And sometimes when you hear that someone else is dealing with it too, it makes it easier for you to figure out how you need to handle your situation. My lives are never to bash anybody, because if I'm bashing anybody, I'm bashing myself. Because the majority of these lives, if not all of these lives, are solely about me and things that I go through. I wanted to come on here a while ago, but I changed my mind, and I may do it. I don't know. I changed my mind because I wanted to talk about family, and I wanted to talk about generational curses. And that word came up 2 days ago. Actually, yesterday it came up with a old neighborhood friend of mine, and she mentioned the word generational curses. And before that, someone else had mentioned to me those words, generational curses. And I wanted to dive into that one day. And I still may dive into that one day. I don't really know. Because when I look at my history and my dynamics of my family, we don't have the closeness and the togetherness that I envision. We don't talk about things that I wish we had talked about. I think if we had opened up more as a family, then I would clearly understand why I'm the way I am now. But we never did. And so I'm still considering having that conversation on generational curses. Maybe one day, I don't know. I need to look more into it. I need to get more comfortable with it and then talk about it. But I just want to caution you guys to believe the signs when you're looking at friends, family members, bosses, co-workers, relationships. Someone is always saying or do something. Someone is always saying or doing something that sometimes needs to be questioned. Not all the time. If you are in a perfect and healthy relationship, perfect and healthy marriage, this may not be for you. But this is for people who struggle with holding on to people. And this is for people who wonder, why do I continue to try to build and make amends with this particular person? We have to pay attention to the signs. We have to watch the signs. The signs are very important. Sometimes people say slick things and we just overlook it like, oh, they just crazy, they just playing. But we have to kind of pay attention to that. We have to just kind of pay attention. We don't have to act out every time and jump the gun and be ready to fight and break up and quit or whatever. But you just have to pay attention to the things around you and pay attention to what people are saying around you and how people are treating you. That's all I want to say. So I just had to give that little tidbit. And believing the signs came from something that I just read on Pinterest. Um, Somebody shared a post on Pinterest, and they were talking about believing the signs. Listen more, watch more. People always used to tell me they give you 2 ears and one mouth, so you can listen twice as much as you talk. Still kind of learning that because I be wanting to talk, but just look at the signs. Just pay attention. Pay attention. Be careful with your guard. Because sometimes I let my guard fully down. Sometimes the thing don't even budge. It doesn't even move because I'm so busy sometimes. Depending on the person, I'm so busy watching the signs. Some people I could care less. I miss everything. I'm so lax. I'm so relaxed. I miss everything. But there are some people that I definitely keep my guard up all the time. And I want to find ways to relax. I want to find ways to be okay. So, if this conversation was for you, great. If it wasn't for you, still great. If you felt some type of way and you want to tell me, inbox me. Let me know. If you have my phone number, text me and let me know. Because my things are never to bash anyone. They're never to mess up the 2-3 friendships I do have. But those are always my thoughts and those are always my feelings, and I don't mind sharing what I think or what I feel. So we're going to mosey on into this Thursday afternoon. Continue with your day, doing whatever it is that you love to do, and just make sure you're paying attention to the signs and believe some of the signs, because they could be leading you to a clear path of happiness or a dark road of destruction. You guys have a great Thursday.